My name's Nathan Link, and I'm a professor of music at Centre College, which is a liberal arts school. And I studied in graduate school with Ellen Rosand, who was quite important in the development of a lot of these ideas. And then I kind of reconvened with her in the last stages of this book and worked with her. So the book is called A Poetics of Handel's Operas, and it is a look using narrative theory at how it is that these operas, and opera generally, tells stories. Always when I've been researching Handel, the honest answer is the most enjoyable aspect is watching the operas and listening to the arias. I don't know if that counts really as research journey, but that certainly is the most delightful part of it. The research journey, what I really liked was researching narrative theory and really doing a deep dive and finding so often people would run off lists. Well, in this concept, this principle would apply to any storytelling genre, would apply to film, to prose fiction, to epic poetry, to drama, and opera would very often be in that list. But in then the citation, there was always missing something. No citation to any work discussing how narratological principles apply to opera, and so that made me very excited to find how wanted it was for opera to be included in the conversation, and also how needed, how it hadn't really been done yet. It depends a little what readers we're talking about. So for scholars, I think that I think in this book, this is a real complement toward to work along with the big monograph that Winton Dean and John Merrill Knapp put together, giving us, the historical documentation. But it for scholars, I think, provides readings and ways of encouraging readings going forward of how it is structurally, in a narrative sense, that these operas work. For opera goers, I think that these operas can be a bit overwhelming. What is actually going on? This genre, opera seria, is maybe one of the most foreign, unfamiliar to many audiences, but Handel's operas more and more often are put alongside the more familiar composers at the bigger opera houses, and I think that this is a sort of a guide how to understand that story aspect of it. The role of the orchestra is a really prominent feature there. And then a third category is producers of opera. I would love it if people putting on productions of opera were able to find value in some of the things that I have found in explaining. Well, I would say researchers in the future, number one, if those researchers are narratologists, here is a good go-to handbook for how to incorporate opera into broader explorations of narratological principles. If the researcher is an opera scholar, specifically with Handel, it sort of, at least offers kind of a map. Here's how one might go about looking at situations similar to these ones that have been discussed. But of course, it's not comprehensive, and so I think there's a lot of room to look at the other operas and arias, accompagnatos that I haven't discussed there. Although these are applied primarily to Handel's operas, these principles that I've developed, the other composers are mentioned quite a lot, and certainly, although a Poetics of Verdi's operas or Puccini's or Mozart's would certainly in very important ways be different, and in very interesting ways be different, I think that doing this sort of a project, uncovering the sort of storytelling framework, the narrative structure, could certainly be applied to other genres of opera and other composers. And I would very much encourage other researchers to take these principles in that direction.